Well, could you tell me some more about, what I was wondering was if those white settlers that were coming in 1910, did they seem to be aware that it was a reservation that they were coming
Yeah.
onto?
They all knew that the first thing, that's what they come for after they heard of that opening up way. And they got a lot of this land for nothing. It's might as well say for nothing. Now you look over a fence and they're ready to charge you a big sum. And a lot of that ground's all doped up anyhow too. Anymore. Before it was just clear land. So I know, I got no old enough where I had to get out and work and go to school at Orly. I'd come home and we'd eat supper lots of time. Old man said, there's 3 head horses there in the barn. I'd have to go and throw the harness on and go down there and follow him all day, all evening. One of them old heel burners. And I'll tell you, you didn't feel like you want to get out and run or anything else like they do now. Try to exercise. We had our exercise there. And everything was with a lantern. Even the house was lit with a lamp like I got there on the table.
Do you remember when the irrigation project was being built? They're building all the canals and they're building these dams up in the mountains, like McDonald Dam and Mission Dam.
I don't know when the Mission Dam was built or anything. Up around Orleans, but say about either 17 or 18 when them ditches was built. I know my folks worked on that when that ditch coming out from the Jocko along the hill on this side. And it was all done with horses. There wasn't no machinery at all. Only the machine they had was a slip.
Was it mostly Indians that worked on it?
There were quite a few Indians that worked there.
I've heard that some Indians didn't like the idea of them building those canals.
No, there wasn't. And I forget now who was foreman then.
Could you tell me a little bit more about when you worked at Kerr Dam? What kind of work they had you doing there?
Well, when I was working there, both times, it was all done with pick and shovel. And then they had them jackhammers. They were ones breaking up the rocks for you. And we breaking rocks, we started from the bottom, worked up to the top. And then just before I quit, they took me and put me as a water monkey. I used to have to take the water bags with a yoke and string them water bags all along on there, and I tell you that was hard to walk uphill if you didn't get the right swing on them, because they'd get to swinging, you know, and if they didn't all come just about even, that was a job. And I can remember I used to walk on the platform about as wide as that there, maybe a little wider, out that way, from the surface to where the steps was. And there were 75 steps. I counted, I used to count them. 75 steps from the top down to the bottom where you stopped. And every man that was around there, he had a rope fastened to his belt, because they give you a big loop like that, and you hook that on your belt. And then time you monkeyed around there, you had to fasten that rope in that ring. And go down there and work. And then there's a fella up there, he'd let you down where you want to work, or pull you up and tie you there. Like me, when I got to be water monkey, I used to have to put that rope on my belt. There's a big loop with a hook on there. And I'd go down there and water every one of them. And I'd have to pull myself back up on that rope, and while I was standing. Before that was nothing, because I was working around the shop. The year before that, I was working around the shop, and it was pretty nice. But after they said that they were short of water monkey, I went up there. Used to go clean down there where the dam is now. There was a little shack there with a pump. You started your pump, and that'd fill up them sacks. I had about put in a dozen of them things. Fill them up and hook them up on that yoke. And I'd work there and get up on my shoulder and start up the hill, walking, and them things get to swinging this way. Tell you it was hard when they didn't swing together. And I'd get up there and I'd walk out on this platform ways and then catch on my ladder and go down 75 steps from the top down to where I was stationed.
Sounds like dangerous work.
You had to be pretty well manned to go down, up and down them steps, or else.
What were the relations like between the Indians and the whites at Kurdam?
Okay. Was no trouble at all. They all mixed together and everything. And they had to because they were working all together. One thing that I ever done when I was working at the dam, taking the evenings after supper, I'd walk around at the golf around there, and I'd find all kinds of golf balls. I'd take a sack with me, paper sack. Maybe I'd fill the damn thing with golf balls before I'd get home. Fellas losing their golf balls. It's hard to see because them days where they didn't have the grass cut down like they got now. And you had to watch for the close, and you'd see something white in that grass. You'd walk over, and might be a piece of paper or something.
Then what would you do with the golf balls? Sell them?
I'd resell them. Some of them would run out of golf balls. And I'd resell them. Like I went down here not really too awful long ago. Geez, they got a nice big road, go along the hill and come on down to the buildings. And them days that's why I say, where we had to go up and down, looked like a couple of cow trails, go down and up. My step-old man, he had a big car, and he was afraid to drive down or up. He'd ask me if I couldn't do that for him. I'd drive him up top the hill and back down. That was nice here at one time. We'd look out and see cattle and horses all mixed together, you know. And there wasn't a fence on this side the creek between here and Post Creek, or between here and Ronan. There wasn't a fence.
At what time was there no fences? I mean, when were the fences built?
I don't know. I was gone at that time. That's what I say. When I was young, I never stuck around on this reservation much. I was looking for a job someplace. Go down Yakima and round in there. The first job I ever hit down there was picking hops. And I'll tell you, you had to pick a lot of hops to make any money. Because I wasn't paying too much then for hop pickers. And after that closed down, I went picking fruit down there. Come back into Spokane. Wasn't too much of a town then. And there was a lot of apples and stuff like that. And I went picking apples. And I picked up a couple up there in Yakima. And we come down there into Spokane, was this way from Spokane ways. That was where they had their switch tracks. And we fooled around. We got one track. It had 2-3 boxcars in them, and that's where we stayed, in the boxcar. You had to go out to work.
So you rode around in boxcars quite a bit doing that work.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, there was nothing to it. It's just watch. See the train pulling out for what direction you was going, and watch after they started moving. Run and grab that. And ride that to your destination. And we got so we used to call that side door Pullman. Of course, nowadays they got these swift trains. It's hard to catch on, or if you do catch on, you can't get off where you want to. Before it was them old locomotives that burn coal, you could sneak off or on pretty easy. All you had to watch was the fellow was oiling brakes and stuff like that on them boxcars. He'd catch you. Wouldn't do too much to you only. If you'd be down in their way, he'd spray that oil on you. And boy, I'll tell you, you get sprayed, I spray that oil on you. It burn for a while. Then after a while it gets out, you didn't feel it. And we had some of them breakies run us off. But if we could get a chance away from him, we'd jump on another car.
We've only got a minute left of tape, and I'd like you to add one other thing for the younger people that might be watching this someday. What you would like, how would you like this reservation to be for them someday when they grow up?
Well, I'd like to see it open for the Indians. They're trying to close everything down. That's why I don't believe in a lot of this here book learned stuff. Some of them read a book and that's all. Some of them can't talk without having a book in front of them.